This snow park starts at 4,800 feet. So just a couple hundred feet shy of Alpine. We'll definitely be climbing into the Alpine today, depending on the exact route we take. One of those snow parks that flirts the subalpine and alpine. Look at those clouds straight ahead. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's pretty epic. As my snowshoe falls off. Just got started and I wanted to highlight this beautiful weather formation. Look at this. The clouds are pretty ominous. Let me stop and pan around and take a look at Hayrick, Butte, as well as the trail we've been hiking on. Something pretty darn magical about this area. It feels good to get out here in the snow, in the forest. If you are a lover of nature, a lover of wilderness, lover of forests, and you get it. Something just good for the soul about being out here in the forest. Gotta kind of be careful with your footing on a few of these sections where you can very easily take a tumble. It's surprisingly steep gradation. One thing you gotta be aware of when you're hiking in snowshoes is that because the weight of them, you have to be a little bit more conscious of lifting the snowshoes completely and raising your feet. When you're in normal shoes or even Yaktrax, kind of get away with a little bit more of a casual stumble step. You don't want to lift your leg too much and just kind of glide across the ground. Can't really get away with that with snowshoes though, because your snowshoe will catch and you'll trip. So it gets me every once in a while if I'm lost in thought and I'm not using proper technique. I will trip a little bit. So trip there. Look at that. That is beautiful. And this is the steepest section we've had. It's like straight down. Our passageway is getting narrower. This is a very beautiful section. Pacific Crest Trail. Great for summer, not what we are doing today. There's the beautiful Pacific Crest Trail. A little signage. And a little connector to the other side of Pacific Crest Trail. If you're not familiar with the PCT, and I don't know how you couldn't be, but one of the most epic hiking trails in the world, going all the way from basically Mexico to Canada, through Oregon, Washington, and California. All right, so here's our update. Ray Benson Sno Park, 2.1 miles behind us. Brandenburg Shelter, 0.7 miles ahead. Whew, probably the best view of Mount Washington we've had. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Looking straight ahead at the beautiful Mount Washington. That is our alpine eye candy at Ray Benson Sno Park. See the gray clouds moving quickly to the left, partially obscuring the sun, the sun fighting for sky supremacy. Oh, that mountain looks so beautiful. It's like marshmallow white. The top part of that is just thick, gorgeous, glowing white. Oh man, that is beautiful. I find it interesting that on the right side of the mountain there, that forest section is already melted. Kind of indicates to me that snow levels up at Washington aren't that high. If the whole area was one big blanket of white glowing snow, then we'd be like, wow, a lot of snow up there, but not in this case, Jack. Looks like it's, or should I say Washington? Three-Finger Jack is in a different section. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Love the sky, love the gray clouds, the sun, the blue, contrast of the weather. Love the beautiful Mount Washington in all her glorious marshmallowy splendor. Bright white, glowing white, just gorgeous. This area is beautiful. Give you a little shot of the trail behind me, and we'll continue along. we're getting close, within a few tenths of Brandenburg Shelter, which is the highlight feature of our hike today. There's the beautiful Mount Washington, and look at these beautiful sky. Oh my gosh. As I like to say, the forces of lightness and darkness, at least in a weather sense, fighting for supremacy of the sky. Will the rain win or the sun win? Only time will tell. And got some expensive views that way. Gorgeous clouds, some really vibrant colors of gray, as well as the mountainside. I should say Butte side of Brandenburg Butte. And beautiful Willamette National Forest, all these pines. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Here's a shot back at where we're coming from. Thick, snowy delight. One word for it. While you're going down it, I might not feel so delightful because it's very thick and arduous to get across even with my snowshoes on. I'm having a little trouble with my footing. So, if you wanted to be a Yaktrax warrior, I'm telling you right here is a place where your plan falls apart. Because even with snowshoes, this is difficult. With Yaktrax, this is going to be knee-high post holing or farther down mountainside. Hey, different strokes, different folks, but it does not sound fun to me. The colors, the grays, light gray, dark gray, blue, white. I love these hybrid weather days because the weather itself ends up being a feature of the hike. I mean, our landscape is obviously gorgeous, but sometimes if you just have a bright blue sky, there's less contrast. And conversely, if you just have a gray overcast cloud, there's not much contrast, but you get this watercolor painting effect going on. Look at that. We've got our snowshoes deployed because it's so thick. And we made it to the mighty Brandenburg Shelter. Let's go inside and take a look. I think I'm approaching from the oft not approach side, the far side. And look at that. That's pretty gorgeous. Oh, I'm loving that. Let's go take a look inside. Oh my gosh, look at this. We're looking at the world famous Mount Washington. Of course, our Brandenburg Rustic log cabin shelter. Scroll over and take a look. What we like to call watercolor sky. Oh, this is beautiful. That's Hayrick Butte. That's hay as in H-A-Y, like a cousin of straw, not like what's up, Rick. And let's go inside Brandenburg Rustic log cabin shelter. This is pretty darn epic. Step inside. I got so much wood cut. Oh my gosh. And I love the nameplate, the plaque, Brandenburg Shelter. Love that American flag. And we've got a couple benches and a hearth, a wood-burning stove to stay warm. Avoid the nippy frostbite. So we got another intersection. We don't want to go that way or that way. That's the PCT. We want to go this way. See a blue arrow there. And let's continue along. Kind of a cool down tree here, right beside the trail. Very cool. Beautiful forest section. It is raining. We are returning back to Ray Benson Trailhead. It's in that Ray Benson Sno Park, our South Loop Trailhead. Oh, this is so beautiful. Today is Friday, January 13th, 2023. And officially according to all trails, this is 5.8 mile loop and 300 and some odd feet elevation gain between the Ray Benson exploration, Sno Park exploration I did, starting with Yaktrax and having to go back, and my off-trail Claypool Butte section. Probably did more like 7 miles, I'd say. I'll be 500 feet elevation gain. I feel like a couple miles practically breaking trail, so it's a bit exhausting. I would break this down into 2 hikes. I would do the South Loop as a hike. Come South Loop, do the Brandenburg Loop, and then I would turn around and backtrack that. Don't do the lollipop as the all trail shows you, because there's no groomed packed trail and you're gonna end up breaking trail for a couple miles through a nondescript meadow and forest, and adds a lot of effort for not really any extra payoff. So it's still less work to go back up to Butte, Brandenburg Butte, than it is to break trail for a couple miles through meadows and forests, and that has a lot of uphills too. So take my word, after having just done it, and turn around at the shelter, go back from whence you came, back up to Brandenburg Butte. That also gets you to the Mount Washington views again, and that section is the best views of Mount Washington in the whole area. So you do get a dividend. So I would do that. That's we'll call that the south side. It's the South Loop, Brandenburg Shelter Loop. That's one point of attack. And then I would also have a second hike, and that is maybe start in the north section of Ray Benson. Understand there is a trailhead up there, but you have to climb up like an 8 or 10 foot banked snowbank to get up to it. But once you do that and you're on top of it, you're fine. I would go up there, and then I'd go do the Blowout shelter, the North Blowout shelter, and the Island Junction shelter as a loop. Completely avoid the south part. So, and I would definitely do snowshoes on both of them. This is not a Yaktrax snow park. Realistically, it's just too much thick snow. You'll be post-holing the entire time if you try to get cute and use Yaktrax. Ask me how I know. I actually tried using Yaktrax at the beginning part of this, and I quickly realized that was not going to work. I wasn't going to make it all the way to Brandenburg with my Yaktrax, so I did like a 10th or 2 before I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. Went back to my car and switched to my snowshoes, which was a wise decision, because as I got later on, I only saw how the snow got thicker and thicker. So definitely a snow park. Definitely the premier snow park, I'd say, in Santiam Pass Sisters area. 2, I think high quality snowshoes can be done. Obviously a gigantic base camp for snowmobilers. I've been hearing them all day in the distance. Gentle roar of their engines. So those would be my 2 points of attack. I think you can break Ray Benson into 2 snowshoe hikes, north and south. And in the north one, you capture 2 shelters, the Blowout and the Island Junction shelter. And in the south one, you just do the Brandenburg shelter. But if you do those 2 snowshoes, 2 pretty thorough, rigorous snowshoes, capture the whole area. You could views of Mount Washington and beautiful forest. And right now I'm headed back. I'll be back shortly.